Welcome. I'm going to show you today how to use Smart Notebook and Google Forms for graphing lessons. It's a simple enough concept, but it's got a few little tricks to it. One of the first things to know is I'm utilizing the Voki widget that is part of Notebook 11. There is a new widget coming out called the Embed widget that should work as well for this same concept. The first thing you're going to need to do is download the Voki widget. If you have not done so, it's on the Smart Exchange. Here is a direct link that you can type in and download that widget directly from the Smart Exchange. Once that widget is downloaded and installed, next step you need to do is go into Google Docs. Inside Google Docs, we're going to create a new form. It's a very straightforward, simple process. I'm going to click on Create. I'm going to click on Form. When I click on Form, it's going to pop up and ask me some very basic information. Well, you can set up a template. I don't recommend it because then you've got to worry about resizing to make things look nice. I stick with the default template because it's just plain backgrounds. I can pretty up my notebook file if I need to later on. I don't need this form to be real flashy. So I'm just going to simply title my form. In this case, I'm going to call it the Food Survey and click on Done. This creates the basic layout for my survey. This is the data that I need in order to create my chart and graph that's going to end up being inside of Smart Notebook. First thing, I've got my title. Description's not needed for this one. I'm going to say it's pretty much what is your favorite food. It's not going to be a multiple choice. I'm going to choose from a list, and I'm going to give them a few options for their favorite types of food. This can be done with whatever you might happen to want to graph at that time. I've got that typed in, click Done. That's really all I need to do to create my form. This form is now ready. What I need to do now is capture the embed code from this form to utilize in the Voki widget. So I'm going to click on File, go down, click on Embed. When I click on Embed, it's going to pop up this little coding information. All I need to do is copy this information, and it even gives you a little pop-up, Control-C, or you can right-click Copy, and then click on Done. The first time you do this, it may ask you this response. Where do you want your data to go in? A new spreadsheet is all you need. Food survey responses. Click Create. I have finished with this part of the survey. I'm going to go into Smart Notebook, and in this case I've already installed the Voki widget. My Voki widget's here. In this box, all I need to do is, it says paste your Voki code, but really it's your embed code. So I'm going to paste my embed code that I got from that Google form. Control V is the keyboard command, and then click on Go. When I click on Go, you'll see my survey has pulled down directly inside a Smart Notebook. I can move this around if I need to, so I can go to different locations if needed. It will allow you to resize if you need to. It's just completely up to you. My survey is in there. At this point, it's ready to be worked. I can come in. I'm going to real quickly just show you how easy that is. Kids come up, select their food, hit Submit. Submit another response. Next kid comes up, selects their food, Submit. I'm going to submit one of each just so I know I've already got it done, and I've got that data ready to go. So step one is done. We've created our form. We've embedded our form. The next part is going to be creating our chart. Now the chart requires a little more work because there's some manipulation you have to do within a spreadsheet. So I'm going to go back into my Google Docs. It will have created my food survey responses. I'm going to open up that spreadsheet. Inside this spreadsheet, right away, you can already see my basic responses. I did those 4 responses already. Here are my 4 responses. Now I've got a few things I have to do. I have to create my chart. Well, in order to create my chart, I need data to chart. I can't just chart basic text. It doesn't allow that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a new sheet. In this case, sheet 2. My responses remain here untouched. In here, I'm just going to real quickly create one of each category: pizza, hot dog. Whoops, that says hot day. We'll go with hot day. Salad and hamburger. So I've got my 4 responses. Now I need to create a formula that is going to count every time somebody votes for each one of these. This formula is not a complex formula, but it's just not commonly used. The formula is going to be equals count if, open parenthesis, and then it wants to know the range. Well, I'm going to come back to my forms and I'm going to tell it the entire column. I click on the column heading B. You can see my formula is continuing, comma, it's going to count if the answer is pizza. Now pizza, because it's text, has to be in quotation marks, and then close my parentheses. And you will see it's already saying count 1. It's because pizza is in there once. I'm going to repeat the same process for each one of these. So count if, come back, select my range. In this case it happens to be hot day instead of hot dog, but that's okay. I'll make do with that. And I need to repeat it 2 more times. Right, now that my formulas are done, I now have something that I'm capable of graphing. So in this case, I'm now going to come through, I'm going to very simply select my data. This is the data that I want it to graph. I'm going to go to my insert command, and I'm going to tell it to create a chart. Now, depending on what kind of chart you want, you may need a bar graph, you may need a pie chart, a line graph, whatever the chart that you happen to be teaching the students, that's up to you. In this case, I want mine to be a pie chart. I just like the pie chart. It's a little more colorful, but you can do other charts because it is important that students learn the different types. So I'm going to choose my chart, and I'm going to tell it, it gives me some command options if I want to go through and customize some of my options. I've got all that capability, and I'm going to insert. Now my chart by default is inserting here. I want it to move to its own sheet. It inserted on top of my data. It's kind of, I can move it around, but for what we're doing, I want to be able to have this chart all by itself, so I'm going to move it to its own sheet. Now it's its own sheet. So now I've got my form responses, my sheet 2, which has my calculations, and my chart. The next thing before we move to embedding this that's very important, we need to move this chart to the very first position. So I simply grab it and drag it. I moved it from the end over here to the first position. It has to be the first one. If you leave it in the wrong position, this is not going to work the way you need it. Step 1 of a very important thing. Step 2 of a very important thing. We have to share this and make it public. As you see right now, when I hover over share, it tells me private to only me. I'm going to click on share. I'm going to change this to make it anyone with a link. I don't like making mine public to the web where it can be found through a search. I just want someone who has the link, and they can only view it. I'm not going to let them make changes. Alright, so I've viewed it. I'm going to save it. Here's the next important part. This is the trickiest part of the whole process. I need to copy this link. I'm going to copy this text because there's a couple commands I have to do. There's some embed code manipulation I have to do. You don't have to understand the embed code, but you do need to understand how to manipulate this. So I copied my link and I click done. Easy enough. I'm going to come up, I'm going to open up Notepad. This is an easy one for me. And I'm going to paste that link. I separated it with a couple of enters because I need that link here in a second. Alright, now that I've got that, I've got my link copied. Because there is no direct route to embed this part, they don't give us the ability to embed this chart, What I need to do is embed this entire spreadsheet, but I'm going to cheat and I'm going to use embed code that we've already used. What I need to do is I'm going to pull up my food survey again. I'm going to get my embed code from my food survey. So I'm going to copy all this code again. Easy enough. I'm going to go back to my notepad and I'm going to paste it. What's happening in here is you can see all my code that appears in here. There's a variety of codes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the website from my chart and I'm going to replace the website that's referencing my form. By doing that, I've created a whole new embed code. I'm going to now copy that embed code, come back to Smart Notebook. I've already inserted my Voki widget on this page, and you can see I adjusted the widget to make it bigger because I want my chart to appear bigger. And I'm going to paste my code. When I click on Go, it will now pull down my chart. Here is my chart, ready to be viewed, ready to work. It is now complete. All I need to do, I can come back one page just to show you that this is working. I'm going to vote for pizza and submit another response and vote for pizza again. When I navigate forward, my chart will refresh. When my chart refreshes, you will now see pizza has certainly gotten more votes. That is the trick to embedding a chart, a Google Forms chart, into Smart Notebook so that you can teach these students how to do charts and graphs and teach them about working with the legends and anything else you may need to do. Thank you for watching.